Let's talk about the path to audiating harmony clearly. Most musicians, they can hear harmony, but actually holding it in your mind, that's where almost everyone struggles. That single gap between hearing and holding is why your inner ear collapses the moment more than one note enters the picture. So today you're going to feel what it's like when harmony stops collapsing. In the comments, type yes if you know what it feels like when harmony turns to mush when you try to hear it internally. So here's your first breakthrough. It's something I've done a lot, but we're going to work through this and you're going to have 8 breakthroughs today. So hold this tone. Now I'm going to stop playing it. You keep it alive in your mind. Keep it strong, keep it going. If it slipped away, that's not a flaw. That's your auditory working memory hitting its natural limit. The average person can hold a single pitch for about 2 to 3 seconds before the neural trace decays, and you just discovered the exact muscle you've never been taught to train. So let me know in the chat, were you able to hold the pitch or did you lose it? I want to make sure you're tracking yourself on this. Let's talk a little bit about something important. You're not broken, you're not behind, you're not missing talent. Your brain simply hasn't been trained to maintain stable neural firing after the sound stops. Now, every musician you admire learned how to hold sound, not just hear it, hold it. And you're about to learn it too. So let's try and have another breakthrough right now. The vanishing note, and then I'll talk a little bit about the science behind it. You're going to hear 2 tones. Just listen to it. Now, I remove one. You keep the top one alive. Can you hear it? Let's try this again. 2 tones. Removing one. Hear the top one while I'm playing this. Try it a few times. Hear the 2 tones again, the dyad. Hear the bottom tone. Now try and hear the top tone. Can you hear it? This is an important thing. That collapse you may have felt is your auditory cortex dropping the unsupported tone because it doesn't have a stable internal model yet. Can you hear it when I play them together? Close your eyes. Can you hear that? Can you replicate it in your mind? Now, when I remove the top tone, can you still hear the top tone? It's perfectly normal if you can't, and it's something that you have to train, and it takes time. Your brain prioritizes the sound that's still present and discards the one that isn't. This is what we call predictive coding, and it's a sign of it at work. So let me know in the comments. Could you hear both tones when I stopped playing them? Could you hear only one tone? Or can you hear nothing at all? All this is really important. I'm going to try and give you some suggestions based on how you answer. So let's just talk about something. A lot of people will say audiation is just memory. If audiation were memory, that top note wouldn't vanish the moment I stop playing it. Memory stores. Audiation holds. They rely on different neural systems. Now, it's true that if you can recall something in your memory in great detail, your audiation shows promise for the future. It shows that maybe you can develop a high-level audiation, but it doesn't mean that you will, because they are separate skills. So let's talk a little bit about one more breakthrough here. The first interval, okay? Hold this note. Hold it in your mind. Now, imagine this above it. Now I'll remove the top note. Can you hear the top one? Even when I remove it, try and hear this note here on top of this note as I play it. Listen. Hearing that top note in your mind only. Now, can you have them combine? Can you make what sounds like the top note in your mind? Can you make it as consistent as the bottom note? Almost like you're hearing it in spatial sound. One's coming from your computer screen or your headphones, the other one's coming from inside your mind, but they're the same tone. It's almost like antiphonal, where two parts are being played maybe off stage, and then you have the orchestra on stage. I'm the orchestra, you're the antiphonal sound. It's just a little bit muted. It's an important skill. So you keep the interval alive. If you've ever felt even 1 second of stability, that's your brain beginning to form what we call a two-tone predictive model. This is the foundation of harmonic audiation. And it's a really important concept. So we want to talk about a misconception. Audiation is not imagining a sound after you hear it. That's recall. Audiation is stabilizing, manipulating, and tracking multiple tones over time inside your mind. And sure, you're going to be able to hear something very loud in your mind, but you can't make it so loud that if you heard it in the real world, it would actually damage your hearing. You can't damage your hearing with audiation, that's true. But you can make the quality with practice almost as good, if not as good, as what you hear in the real world. But it takes time, it takes practice, and it requires you to go into the right mental state to be able to hear these tones. It's internal architecture. And architecture can be built. So we're going to try and do another breakthrough. Try and fit 8 of these in here today. This is sort of the moving line test. So hold this tone. Now imagine a line above it. Maybe something like this. Okay, you go ahead and do that. Just come up with anything on top of it and try and hold this note as a drone. Just hear a melody in your mind. It might be very soft. It might not be very clear, but that's okay right now. Make something up. Okay, now I'm going to remove the pedal. Try and keep the pedal and a melody at the same time. You keep the line alive with a pedal tone. So if it flickered, that's your dorsal auditory stream. It's struggling to maintain motion without external input. This is normal. This is trainable. This is not a problem. It means that we are pushing. And I often hear this objection. You can't audiate chords, only melodies. People genuinely believe this. They genuinely believe that you can only hear one sound in your mind. Can you hear 2 people talking at once in your mind? Maybe you can't focus on both at the same time, but can you focus on 2 people talking at the same time in life? Maybe not. So you can hear aggregates in your mind. You can hear multiple independent lines even. You can break it apart and hear independent lines. So you're about to prove this theory wrong. You're going to hold a full chord inside your mind, possibly for the first time. Now, if this is the first time you've done this, let me know. All right, here's the chord. Now, try and hold it in your mind. I'll play it, and then you, even if it's just an idea of the sound, even if it's just a general texture, like it's a bright, stable chord, try and hear that in your mind. Whatever you hear is fine. Now, I'm going to remove the top tone. You try and keep the full chord alive. I'll play the full chord, and then you'll just hear an interval, the bottom 2 notes. You keep that top note going. Here's the full chord. Here's just the bottom 2 notes. Can you hear that top note along with it? Here's the chord. Just the bottom 2. Here's the chord. And the bottom 2. Now, I'm going to remove the middle note. I'm going to take it away. Keep the full chord alive. I'm going to play the bottom note and the top. Here's the full chord. Removing the middle. the full chord. Remove the middle and hear the full chord. Full chord. Listen for that middle note. Hear the full chord in your mind. Let me know if you could do that. Now I'm only going to play the root. Can you hear the full chord on top of it? Just make an action if you have to. Eyes shut, maybe push your hands forward. Walk around the room. Do something active. Just force it to come out. An impact. Okay? One more time. Here's a root. Try and keep the entire chord alive in your mind. If you even got close to this, that's a breakthrough. That's something that you haven't necessarily done before. Now, here's the thing. This is memory. You're recalling something you've heard. So to make it true audiation and to push it more into the realm of actual audiation, you take the chord in your mind, you hear it, and maybe you change one note. The top note, you go up, and you come back down. So maybe get something like this. And then you take the top two notes and you move them. And you play around with them, and then you hear a melody on top of it. Now you're not just recalling, you're creating, you're audiating. It's a very important thing. So that flicker you felt is your tonotopic map. It's trying to maintain 3 simultaneous neural traces with only one exterior anchor. This is the doorway to real audiation. So in the comments, let me know, did you hear the chord? Did you hear a flicker? Or was it completely silent when I stopped playing? I want to know how you're feeling on this. And it'll also help other people, because for those of you that are hearing it, that just reinforces that, yes, this is possible for other people that can't hear it. You're actually doing a favor to people if you comment and let us know your experience. If you didn't hear nothing, that's great. You can go ahead and comment that too. Let's have an honest discussion about this, and it'll allow me to create additional videos. So if I hear that nobody could hear this, then I'm going to try again. And I'm going to try and do something different that will help you learn this until we get people in the comments to say, I'm hearing it, I'm hearing it, I'm hearing it. You know, harmony, it collapses because your internal sound memory just isn't trained to hold multiple tones at once. This isn't talent, it's called neural efficiency. Your brain prunes what it can't stabilize. So we're teaching it to stabilize. We're teaching it to get better at this. So something else I hear a lot. Fixed do is the only real way to audiate, or movable do is the only real way to audiate, or one system's better than the other, or you can't combine systems. You know, fixed do, all these systems, they are just labeling systems. If you want to teach these systems, you need to know the difference between fixed do in the traditional sense, fixed do in the modern sense, different methods out there. I tend to use the Sato system for fixed do because it has do, di, re, mi. It has all the chromatics, and I like that because it's giving particular inflections to specific notes, and I think that's useful when we're trying to train half steps and whole steps and develop a real ear, not just tonal constructs. But it doesn't matter the system you use as long as it is efficient. So the idea here is that while fixed do is a labeling system, audiation is a stability system. You can label a note perfectly and still have 0 internal stability. That's why audiation needs something that has a little bit more preciseness to it in a way, because we want to go from that mushy sound in your head that you're probably hearing right now to something stronger. Okay? So movable do, I hear this, is cheating. I don't think movable do is cheating either. Movable do teaches function. Fixed do teaches labels and the relationships between half steps, whole steps, minor thirds. When you use fixed do, you are taking away a part of the cognitive processing, because once you learn that C is do, C sharp is D, And once you get really good at that, then you can sing very quickly because these syllables are simple. They're easy to sing. And what happens is once you can do that, you're able to sing more effectively because you're not sitting there trying to think, what is the fourth scale degree in this key? You're not thinking about scale degrees, you're thinking about interval relationships, which will help you sing better in the future. But that's not really what this is about today. That's another topic. Neither one of these systems teaches you to hold harmony. Audiation's not do-based. It doesn't require a system like that. It's stability-based. We want to build up our brain. We want to hear what we can actually hear, right? And we want to make it better. So contrary motion stability and science. We're going to try another one here. Hold this. Now, hear it in your mind. Now imagine the top note rising while the bottom falls. Contrary motion. And it doesn't have to move by step. Whatever you hear this interval. Opposite directions. They can go out, they can go into the same note if you want, or they can go in chromatically and you have a dissonance. Just make sure they move in opposite directions. They could leap out. If a leap helps you hear it better, great. All right, so now I'm going to play this interval again. Just listen to it. Now I'm going to play only the top note. Keep the bottom note in your mind. Can you hear the bottom note? Now, try and make that bottom note move somewhere against the top note. Hear that in your mind. This is your brain attempting what I'm going to call here dual stream tracking. It's a skill normally reserved for advanced musicians, but you are doing it right now. You're hearing two lines in your mind, and you based it off a prompt, but you're moving the notes now. You are creating new sounds in your mind. You're not here for information, though. You're here for transformation. You felt harmony inside you your whole life, but it slips away before you can grab it. I know what that feels like. You're here because you want that clarity to stay, and it can. So we're going to do another breakthrough here. Another thing that I want you to try. I'm going to call it the internal bassline. Okay, so hold this chord in your mind. I'm going to use the same chord because I want you to get better at audiating. This is a simple, very quick introduction to audiation. Okay, hold this chord in your mind. Now, can you add that tone below it? Audiate. Okay. Now hold all of that if you can, and try and hear a simple bass line. Maybe it just moves up by step. Maybe it goes up a fourth. You don't even need to know what you're hearing. Just try and hear underneath this. Doesn't even have to start on this note. Try and hear another melody below while holding that chord. Let me know if you can do this. Say, I could hold a melody underneath a chord, or I could not hold a melody underneath a chord. I want to hear from you. This is going to help me make this better for you. Now, try and do it one more time. I'm going to play the chord. Try and hear that melody below. I'll give you a few seconds. Could you do it? This is your subcortical pitch pathway. It's trying to maintain a low frequency trace without external reinforcement. This is advanced work. It really is. So, this is not just ear training with extra steps. Ear training and audiation. I know it seems like they're related skills, and they are related skills, but they're not the same skills. You can have a high level of audiation and a low level of ear training, and vice versa. Ear training ends when the sound stops. Audiation begins when the sound stops. They are not the same discipline. That's an important distinction here. So the final breakthrough here, we're going to try and do an internal modulation. So I want you to try and hold this chord. Now imagine it's shifting to here. This is a 4 chord. In relation to that chord is 1, and it's a forward second inversion. The top 2 notes are just going up by step. Can you imagine that? Try and hear that texture, that contour, that impression in your mind, even if you can't hear it as clearly as I play it on the piano. Go ahead and do that. Now, let's see if we can expand it. Can you hear that? Go ahead and try. Try it again. Could you do it? If you even felt a moment of internal movement, that's again your predictive harmonic model activating. This is a beginning of real harmonic fluency. So look, there is a path to audiating harmony, clearly. It's not a trick. It's not a hack. It's a long arc, immersive training of your internal sound memory. And you've already taken the first steps today. And I often hear people say, this is too slow. I need fast results. But think of it this way. In just this video, we have attempted 8 breakthroughs in under 30 minutes. Most musicians never encounter all these techniques in one session, and you just did 8. This is the fastest path there is, because the other option is going from system to system to system to system and picking up little pieces as you go until finally something clicks, and it can take 20 years. I mean, for me, it took a long time, and I don't want you to have to take the slow path. I walked. I crawled. I slept sometimes so that you could run. I went very slowly is my point. So let's just do one more thing. Hold this chord. Let's say this is your 5 chord. Hold it in your mind. Now, can you imagine the resolution? Hear a resolution. Doesn't have to be the correct one. Could be deceptive, could be a 1 chord. Now I'm going to play it. This is going from 5 to 1. Keeping everything in C. Now, remove everything. Try and hear that chord again, the 5 chord, and resolve it to 1, 6, whatever you want to resolve it to. If you felt a resolution internally, again, that's a predictive coding system. It's firing ahead of the sound. This is how improvisers and composers think. So I want to talk to you about something. Some of you aren't here to get better at ear training. I get that. You're here to become someone who hears harmony clearly from the inside out. That's not a skill, that's an identity. It becomes a part of you. And you've already stepped into it by making it this far. So let's do something else. Try something a little bit more difficult. So hold this chord. Hear it in your mind, even if it's just a texture, an impression of it. Now, imagine a melody above it. Just create something. Now, can you hear the chord? Play it again in your mind. And can you hear a melody above it? You have to keep the harmony consistent. You have to keep it alive. This is your brain trying to run what I'm calling parallel auditory models. This is all based on science. You can read the basis for what I've been doing here in the description. There's a bunch of research studies. And the thing is, when I was working at the university, I studied. I looked at the research and I tried to figure out, okay, what have we tried? What works? What doesn't work? And over time, it kind of became my own language. So everything here is based on science. And then what I consider to be even better, experience working with over 1,000 students in person. in courses where you have to teach anywhere from 20 to 50 people all at once, and you have to make sure they're all active, But when your brain is running sort of this parallel auditory model, melody and harmony become separate internal layers, and this is the beginning of true audiation. And I just want to tell you, if you want to actually experience what auditing harmony clearly feels like, not just understand it, there's a path. Go look for my Composing Hour Year 1 playlist here. First couple videos are completely free, so you can get a sense for where we start. It's a 52-week guided audio journey. There's no screens, no written assignments. It's pure audiation immersion that you can download to your phone. Just type path in the description here or in the comments if you want me to give you the link, and I will send you the link so you can go check it out. And some people are going to say, this isn't going to help me compose or improvise. But I have to tell you, if you can't hold harmony internally, you can't compose with clarity. You can't improvise with intention. You can't play by ear with confidence.